Let's fucking go.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun and today I'm here to review episodes 1 and 2 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is an interesting show. First of all, just like pretext, like up top, Spider-Man, X-Men, and Batman. Why am I naming these three names? Because these are the three pretty much pillars of comic book superhero animations in terms of having so many different great versions of a show. You have the 90s Spider-Man, you have Spectacular Spider-Man, and so you have that, and if you want to count Spider-Verse 2. So Spider-Man has a couple of great shows, the X-Men have a couple of great animated shows, obviously X-Men 97. You got Batman has a couple of great Batman shows, including the legendary 90s Batman, but also even the Batman, who, if you want to count just the Batman and Justice League as an extension of the Batman show, an underrated Batman called The Batman that had a badass theme, and the new one that just came out, Batman Caped Crusader. These characters, these particular comic books, lend themselves to just be adapted in various different adaptations. And Spider-Man is no different. And there hasn't really been a great Spider-Man show since Spectacular Spider-Man, as so many people talk about. As some people know, Spectacular Spider-Man got canceled, mostly because of Disney. Disney wasn't profiting off of that, because Spectacular Spider-Man was being made by Sony, and Disney wasn't. I mean, there's a lot more complicated shit, but essentially, Disney couldn't get any money off of it, so they were just like, fuck that, we're gonna make our own Spider-Man. They canceled it and made Ultimate Spider-Man, and that was pretty bad. Although, the last Spider-Man show they had, I believe it was just called The Spider-Man or Spider-Man, wasn't actually that bad, but they just introduced so many Spider people, and it was just so kid-friendly. Like, and don't get me wrong, I don't think Spider-Man should be that intense, but it lacked a level of maturity that I thought that it was missing a certain edge of maturity, and it was just introducing so many heroes, so many like characters. The animation style the animation style in that last Spider-Man show was just so, what's the word I'm looking for, plain. It kind of came off cheap. Like, not bad, it just came off like basic shit, like, you know what I mean? So, anyways, I was excited when I heard that they were making Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, a new Spider-Man show for a new generation, as I feel like every generation deserves to have a great Spider-Man show. And this show actually started off as an MCU prequel to the Tom Holland Spider-Man. It started off as Spider-Man freshman year. When it was first announced, it was about, like, because it's supposed to be in that 5 to 6 month frame where Peter got his powers before Tony discovered him. Like, because it's something that's not really talked about that much, but there is this and we assume all the great power, Uncle Ben's death, all the great power come great responsibility, everything happened in this 6 month period where Peter was just figuring out how to be Spider-Man. He was just this local legend, like people would like heard about him, but like with so many other superheroes doing so many other bigger things, it just went under the radar until Tony Stark discovered him. And the whole show was supposed to be about that 6 month frame. And at the time, while I thought that'd be interesting, I didn't know how much. I was like, how much can you really get out of a 6 month period? It really limits the storytelling you can do. I mean, I was cool with it. I was down for it. You know, I just figured, okay, this is going to be just a short, limited series. But somewhere along the process, and it's hard to really tell, I don't know if anyone ever spoke on why it veered. Like, somewhere beyond the creative process, a decision was made to make this its own separate thing. To make this a twist on the MCU Spider-Man. Because that's basically what the show is. This show is essentially a what-if scenario. It's essentially a really great what if. It's because there were some what if episodes. Like let's not let season 3, screw you up. Season 1 and 2 had some great what if episodes where you could have done a long form show where it could have worked and people were. I'm like, yeah, I would like to see the next stage of this. And that's the one thing Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is, because there are so many references, there's so many Easter eggs, there's so many parallels between the Peter Parker from the 616 MCU world and this one. Like, there's just so much of it. And except things keep veering off to different directions. For instance, this version of Peter Parker, like, everything's the same. What he looks like, because, like, you never see Peter, because there's no pictures of Peter pre-bite. So you can imagine that Peter did look like this nerdy little kid with the glasses and the shirt and everything. But here's the difference. He was going to go to the school that he goes to in the Uptown High or something in the MCU movie. But something different happened. A portal opens up. Doctor Strange, a different Doctor Strange. This is a comic book accurate Doctor Strange. Yellow gloves, the black dots on him and everything. He's got the mustache. It is classic Doctor Strange. It's fighting some symbiote creature for some reason or another. And in the process of all that, the school that Peter goes to in Spider-Man Homecoming gets destroyed. It gets destroyed months before, because in the MCU, he goes to school, he gets bit, but he's at that school for months before Tony finds him. In this version, the school gets destroyed before he ever even gets in it. So he has to go to another school. And because he doesn't go to that school, he never meets, him and Ned never meet. And he never meets MJ. So much change, and instead he meets Nico Minoru, who we all know from the Runaways. He meets Harry Osborn. He meets Lonnie Lincoln, who some people don't know grows up to become Tombstone. He meets different characters because he didn't go to that school, and different things just happen. Like I said, it's an Elseworld story. There are pieces of it that are clearly, like, you can tell we're supposed to be like this MCU version, but they just shifted things around. So they gave themselves the freedom to do whatever they want and tell a unique story. And this entire show, in my opinion, is a love letter to Spider-Man. There are references to Spider-Verse. Now, just the way Peter Parker gets bit and the spider that bites him, just like from Into the Spider-Verse, where a spider came crawling through, like, the multiverse and bit him. It was a spider that crawled through the multiverse that turned Miles. Same thing happens here. A spider crawled through the multiverse and bit Peter. This isn't the classic radioactive spider, and he happened to be in the wrong place, or the right place, depending on who you ask, at the right time situation. No, like this, this spider was not from this reality. And the idea being, like I say, things are different. Things change. He wasn't supposed to be turned into Spider-Man. Not in this fashion. Nothing is going the way that it was supposed to go. But anyways, there are so many differences, but I don't want to spend too much time harping on those differences. The cast is fun. The action is fun. The animation, while it was jarring at first, the longer it went on, the more I enjoyed it. I like the pluckiness of this Peter. I like that I like that they introduced all these comic book characters who we know go on to become bigger as his friend group. And the one important thing is they really put emphasis on the friendly neighborhood part of the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. He is in the community. He is giving people second chances. He is becoming like a fixture of his community, the Spider-Man, the local Spider-Man hero. And I like that. I like the relationship between him and Aunt May. It feels ripped right out of the movie. And I love the introduction of Norman Osborn. And, like, there is going to be some people who are going to bitch about some of the race swap things. Norman Osborn being being black in this, which, as any black comic book fan would tell you, only a black man can have waves like that. Like, those kind of waves? Come on, bro. You gotta be mixed to have waves like that, or just be using some insane type of gel. But let's face it, it makes way more sense now. But I digress. But the big one is the Connors one, which is they change Connors, Doc Connors, into a woman, and as we know, Doc Connors goes on to become the Lizard. Now, nothing they do in this show is overt. Like, there are gay characters, there are stuff, but it's just like, if you notice it, you do. For instance, Nico Minoru, who traditionally in the comics, I believe she's bi or gay. I can't remember. Runaways played her like she was gay, like she was bi, but I digress. Nico goes both ways. She either goes both ways or she's gay. Either way, they don't come out and say it. It's just subtle. Like, she's flirting with girls, or she makes a jab at wanting to talk to a girl. That's it. It's not a blur. It don't stop the show to talk to you about it, which is how these things should be handled anyways. But I digress. They're gonna make a big deal about some of the race swap things. They're gonna make a big deal about some of the sex swap things. Even though Into the Spider-Verse turned Doc Ock into a woman and no one noticed. That's the only thing that bothers me about when people get all upset about race swaps and gender swaps is that people are so, what's the word I'm looking for? Selective about when they give a shit about those things. And it just happens to be when it benefits them to be selective about it. But I digress. I love the intro. I'm enjoying the hell out of the show. I can't wait to have a great new show. And it got greenlit for 2 more seasons. So obviously Marvel knows what they have. And we got something to look forward to, people, because all the reviews on the show have said it gets better the further it goes. So I'm looking forward to this. I would give Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man a 9 out of 10. Loved it. Anyway, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please leave me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.